Welcome to another edition of Getting to Know Hosta Labs. Today, we are joined by Blake Jones, who is a software engineer with Hosta Labs and one of the many bright minds and innovators that makes the company roll on a daily basis. Blake, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I know you guys are busy. I know Henriette and Rachel keep you busy. So I know it's especially much more appreciated that you're here with us today because I know you have a lot going on. So thank you so much. So just give us a little bit about your background first off, and then kind of how you ended up with Hosta Labs.
Sure, yeah. So my undergraduate education was actually in physics and software engineering. And then I did a master's in medical physics at the University of Toronto. And then I kind of have a varied work background as well, from Canadian Nuclear Labs to IBM. And so I was just looking for a new kind of opportunity, a new problem to work on or challenge, and kind of knew I wanted to join a small team. And after I reached out and kind of met with Henrietta and Rachel and one of the other engineers here at Hosta, and very quickly it just became apparent that Hosta ticked all the boxes. So I moved to Boston and joined the team in July of last year.
Well, you're in a great city and part of a great team, and I always find that's amazing, the backgrounds of the people who work at Hosta Labs, the brain power that's there. In addition to the invigoration that you get from working with this particular company, Hosta Labs, what is it about working for a startup that is so energizing? Because people who work for startups, it's almost like they become addicted to it almost. What is it about a startup that is so attractive to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. It might be a personality type, I guess, that gets attracted, but I think the big things are that typically small teams where you get to wear many hats, and you're involved in kind of the full stack of not only development, but also you get to see the business grow and you kind of help it grow, and that's really cool. It's also nice to kind of have a flat organizational structure and kind of be part of a nimble team that can pivot quickly. So yeah, I think those things are kind of a big part of the draw.
There's a lot going on at Hosta Labs right now. I know there's a lot of innovation going on. There's a lot of research going on, business development, a little bit of everything. Can you just go a little bit more? What role are you kind of playing to help the company sort of change the world?
Yeah. So there is a huge amount going on, and we do get to kind of play a role in many things. But where I have been spending most of my time, where I'm kind of leading the push, I guess, is developing our backend systems. So the ability, we have this great Hopper AI, this great AI system, but we need to make sure that we can get it to customers, essentially allow it to be deployed, make sure it can scale, it remains secure and available. And so I'm kind of leading the charge on those fronts there, as well as working with some and kind of fleshing out our modeling APIs. So being able to take some of the results we get from our AI systems and convert those into accurate 3D models of a space. So yeah, that's taking up a lot of my time right now, those two problems.
I can imagine. And, Hosta Labs, for more information, you go to hostalabs.com. You can learn more about the company, more about the team, and more about Blake. And Blake, I know that you just said that you're very busy. And again, you gave us a few minutes today, which we really appreciate. When you're not working, and your brain is probably always working, but when you're not actually in the office or working remotely, what are you kind of doing with, I guess spare time is probably not the right word, but with time with time you're away from the computer?
Yeah, no, there's almost, it's a good question. There's almost the pre-COVID answer and the answer now. So now it's much less exciting. I just hang out, I walk and read a bit, play some chess. But hopefully when we go back to normal, I will get to do some camping and hiking and with friends and whatnot. But, yeah.
whatever normal looks like, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of that's more abstract today than it's ever been. Final question for you. You just mentioned COVID. We're in a very odd, unprecedented time right now. We don't know when things are going to quote unquote end. Who knows what that end game even looks like? What has been the most challenging piece for you during this period, but also a challenge that also creates an opportunity for you as well?
Yeah, this is a good question. I mean, I feel very fortunate. I think we in the software industry as a whole, but especially at Hosta, are very lucky because we've been kind of able to continue business as usual in that we can work from home, work remotely. One thing that was quite challenging was moving to Boston during the pandemic was not, that could have been less complicated had it been normal times. But I think in terms of opportunities, actually whereas in Hosta are well positioned to become even more relevant, I think, and given that there's this need for almost the decentralizing or democratizing of home assessments or insurance claims, and kind of reducing the need of having to have person-to-person contact to solve those problems.
Well, we have the employee here is Blake Jones. He is a software engineer. The company is Hosta Labs. Blake, I want to thank you so much for joining us on getting to know the Hosta Labs team here. I'm Brian Boyer, founder and CEO of the Boyer Group, and we're thrilled to get to know one of our best partners, one of our most creative partners, Hosta Labs. Blake, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much. Bye now.
Take care.